Lindsay.
Hi, Michael.
So lovely to have you with us today. It's kind of mixed feelings. It's kind of
Yes.
happy and sad. It's one of those ones. We're here to talk about your dad
Yes.
and his book that he's releasing, which I have to say is a classic.
Oh.
Jimmy Hazard. For me, reading it, not just because obviously your father passed away, but just the content of it felt like being in a time machine. I mean,
Yeah.
he kind of took us through the decades. A lot of people
Absolutely.
just don't know what the UK was like, or the different, it's all kind of like up in the air. But
Yeah.
when you read that book, it's like a journey through time. How have you been? Because
Yeah, it's not even a year yet, so it's been a journey. Travelling up here today, and yesterday it was. I think obviously I didn't get the message until this morning, so it's been
about recording. I know,
so it was
I
last
kinda
minute.
ambushed
So
Lindsay. I
yeah.
did.
But I've chatted with Lisa on the way up here, and I had these emotions rise up that I didn't even know that I hadn't dealt with. So it has been a time, and you kind of push down and get on with things, and you don't realise that you're still dealing with a loss, and he is a great loss, and now he's a great loss to my dad, but he's a gain as well. So but it's just you miss that
of course
phone call that you could go, right, Dad, how are you, that type of thing. They're the things that I miss.
Lindsay, I think what you're saying is going to resonate with so many people, especially at this time that we've just been through with the whole pandemic and everything. People kind of really going through stuff and experiencing loss when they don't expect it. I must say that you are dealing with it very, very, very well, very admirable, because obviously it was kind of very sudden. So you are. How have you been able to deal with that? What have you had to sort of do to help you through?
Faith.
Faith.
My faith, yeah.
So what is your faith, if you don't mind me asking?
Mine's a Christian.
Oh, you're a Christian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just faith in Jesus, and for me, I never realised. Obviously, my dad was a big part of my life, and I never realised. He is a great. I miss him, so he's a great loss. But you sometimes, those feelings you push down, and you think you're dealing with it. You think, because I was always taught not to cry, not to get upset. I've always been taught to push those emotions down, but yet they are a very important way through being able to heal and be able to let them go as well, because yes, they are a great part of your life, and my dad was a great part of my life, but yet having to let him go as well, and that was quite a key factor of understanding. That was on my journey up here today, and having to do this meeting, or this interview, should I say.
Wow. So your first pointer is, if we could even call it a pointer, as advice, is just feel what you need to feel when you need to feel it, rather than trying to fight it.
Don't fight it, don't push it away, because emotions are real, and God gave us for a reason. So don't push them down. Learn to deal with them and learn to face them.
This is so helpful. I know there are people who are watching this who are really kind of grateful to just hear this advice and stuff, because you can read books, you can do stuff, but you've experienced it, so the things that you're saying are very helpful. The other thing that they sometimes say is that you feel a spectrum of emotions. Did you feel different emotions, like sometimes feeling sad, sometimes feeling angry, sometimes feeling like shock? I mean,
well, it was a shock because obviously it was sudden. So my dad was unwell. There was a time when he was unwell, and I'd visit him 3 times a day just to be able to get him up, be able to get him motivated, be able to get him back on his feet again. And he did. He got there, and and then I found my time having to visit him wasn't as often as I had to, because he was making his own dinners. He was doing things back on his feet
Jim.
again. You know, he was back he was kind of getting back to not quite how he was, but you could see there was progress. And then he was gone. And that was the shocking part of it but initially, obviously he moved near to me, so initially I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But because, you know, and I felt God showing me, like, you know, you need to prepare, you need to start packing up these things, you know. But there was a part of me going, no, it's not going to happen, it's not going to, but his time, he'd had enough. And, you know, with this book, with Jimmy Hazard, he always called it his legacy that he was going to give to his children and his grandchildren, and he has left his legacy.
It is.
You know, it's
see, that's the amazing thing for me about just people talk about coincidence. People talk about there's no God. But you know, there are things we simply cannot boil down to coincidence. For instance, the last time I saw Jim, you know, we used to talk on the phone. You know, we'd get into the book, we'd get into dimensions of what we want to do with it. But the last time I saw Jim, I was fortunate enough to I just had this, you know what, let's record.
Yeah.
Let's just record an interview, because I don't know when I'll be back up here. Come on, let's just record it. And, you know, your dad being your dad, you know.
Took over.
Listen, he's the man, you know, because some people go, oh no, I'm not ready, you know, you didn't tell me about it. He was like, go on then, roll the camera. And guys, so if you want to see the result of that recording, then take a look at this. So Jim.
Hi there.
Wonderful to finally meet you in person. We've had many conversations on the phone.
We certainly have.
So tell us, we want to find out more about your book, more about the process of how you went about writing it. How did you start writing it? What made you decide to begin?
I was my second marriage to my wife Sheila. I sat one evening doodling, and I wrote half a page of Jimmy Hazard. And she's a Mensa woman, very intelligent. She said, you know what, I'm jealous of that. I said, come on. She said, that is really good, carry on. I went, no. She said, please carry on. And I wrote one adventure, and it sort of rolled on from there. So really, she was sort of my inspiration and encouragement for Jimmy Hazard.
Perfect. So once you started, it just began to snowball.
Yeah.
A creative piece.
Creative piece. And I have a lot of doubt in myself. Maybe it's because I'm still a little bit insecure of a lot of things.
But it's a fantastic read, though.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic read.
And a lot of people said it is, and I still doubt it, because most things through my life, Michael, I think I've failed at. I failed at 2 marriages, I failed in business, I was a drinker, loads of stuff. I've been down a lot of rocky roads, and basically Jimmy Hazard is about that, really. Starting from my childhood in 1944 at the end of the war, playing on bomb sites when I was a kid, growing up when the country was getting picked up, like we was saying earlier. And then sex, drugs, rock and roll came along with the Beatles, and I came along with it. Eh?
You followed the times.
Yeah, sign of the times.
Wow. So how old are you, Jim, if you don't mind us asking?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm 74.
I did that on purpose because I think it's incredible that at the age of 74, you're about to launch your book.
Yeah.
It means that we can benefit from your experience, benefit from some of the things that you have been through.
Yeah. It's quite. I'm proud of it in a way, and but I don't want it to fail, because I want to leave something as a sort of legacy, if you like, or for my children and my grandchildren. That granddad wasn't a failure. And in my next book, hopefully that you'll publish that, you will find out that I wasn't really alone. I wasn't really on the edge of society. There was someone there all the time for me. You know.
Intriguing.
Yeah. And that person is not visible. So I became a continental lorry driver, and I sort of just pushed myself away from society, really, because of my rejection as a child. And it sort of stemmed from there, really. And a lot of it was, I suppose, my own fault. So I had a lovely wife, 3 beautiful children, and for some reason I wouldn't let anybody in. So I was afraid, I think we all are, of rejection, you know. So therefore I used to cause my own rejection. But that's right. It's best plan of to
defense is offense, the good offense.
yeah, is to attack.
Yeah.
You know. But I don't attack people physically. I got in a lot of fights when I was younger, growing up, with my cousin Ted, who's in a lot of the stories. And I got in a lot of trouble with the police on and off. Nothing serious, nothing villainous, just silly drunkard things. No, I haven't drunk for 31 years.
You haven't drunk for 31 years.
No.
Man, and you say, you use words like failure. I have to challenge you.
Yeah.
I have to challenge you because it takes everything to be able to resolve, to make a change. And with the help from above, as you said, to be able to make it, to me that's a success.
Yeah.
That's a success. And that's the very definition of success in my eyes.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, when I was baptised, it'll be 8 years ago now. My daughter there, my lovely daughter Lindsay, was the first person to laugh at me being baptised. Because it was an October day, freezing cold outside in a big paddling pool. And I jumped out of there freezing cold and shaking. But now, my Lindsay is a devout Christian. And there she is, yeah. And she was born on my 30th birthday. The best birthday present I've ever had. And we're sort of spiritually linked, if you like. She's always there for me, bless her. And she has been through a lot. So if there's any sort of proceeds or anything from my book, it's for my grandchildren, not for me. I've burnt a lot of money in my life. I've had it and burnt it, spent it, and I don't regret it. Because I think money is a tool that you use either foolishly or wisely. That's all it is. Like the Bible says, the love of money is the root of all evil. And it is to me. So what I have now, I give rather than take. And you see this in my book, threads of it in my book.
I was going to say the Lord may surprise you yet.
Yeah. Well, I went to church, I don't know, it's about 16 years ago. And there was a woman called Connie, and she was in a wheelchair. Excuse me, she was in her 80s then. And she said to me, "You look like a troubled young man to me." I was younger then. And I said, "Well, not really." She said, "Do you know what, Jim? One day a big door is going to open for you. Be prepared to open it, because it will be heavy." And she was a cripple in a wheelchair, mangled front and the back. And she said, "I might not be able to walk, but God gave me something else." She said, "And this door is going to open for you." But I sometimes think perhaps it might be a little bit too late. I don't know, in my life.
Never too late. Never too late. God. You've got to read about Moses.
Yeah.
80 years old.
Yeah.
God raising him up to free his generation.
Yeah, that's right.
Never
Yeah.
too late with God.
No.
He's timeless.
Yeah.
He's timeless. He's eternal.
I think it's like you said on the phone the other week. It's in God's time, in my book, and hopefully, it'll be coming off the press very soon with your help, of course. You know.
Right. Well, thank you, Jim.
That's okay.
Brilliant. We look forward to the release.
Yeah.
It has the edge of society.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. And God bless you.
So there you have it. And this is what I mean about I don't believe in coincidence. The way that we were able to capture that last recording and the way that your dad was able to express very clearly, it was almost like his final message to the world. The way that he spoke. Looking at it now, it's like
when you look back,
I'm telling you, looking at it now, I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy. You know what I mean? Because not only has he written a book, like he says, that he called his legacy, and I'm telling you, it's very well written. It's very well written. Your dad's a good writer.
Yeah.
But what I love about it is just the way that he details, almost like the do's and the don'ts of life.
Yeah, don't do it the way I done it.
Do you know what I mean? The do's and the don'ts, the tips. You know, when you speak to older people, there is wisdom that you extract from them that you can't necessarily just pick off. You know, I mean, they're pearls, and he's put that in the book.
Yeah.
You're left at the end of every chapter. You have to reflect and you have to think about life, because honestly, there's so much rubbish around now, especially on online, internet, YouTube, Instagram. There's just a lot of rubbish going on. But for quality content, when you have someone like your dad who put into chapters the kind of pearls of life, it's a book you got to read.
Amen. Yeah, he called himself the wise old fox.
The wise old fox. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and it's comical as well. That's the thing.
Yes.
Your
You
dad
can laugh, you can cry, but you see the essence of this boy that just wanted to be loved.
Yeah.
And that's the real message, and you know.
Yeah. You know, with all the challenges and all the different stages of his life, one of the things that I love about the book, one of the things I love about Jim, is there's no bitterness.
No.
There's just no bitterness. It's like he used all that happened to him as just inspiration to just always do better. You just can't ask for more, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, incredibly grateful that we were able to kind of put the project together. We were able to capture the recording. We were able to have you here today, and all of that just to say that the book is coming out. The details are up on the screen. So, you know, all that's left to say is you've got to pick yourself up a copy.
Yes. Yeah.
And Lindsay, thank you
and
so
you
much.
look forward to reading this book. So
I tell you, you know, I love reading. I'm a bookworm, and I like all different genres. But I have to say, to get a British, an English author capturing the decades and all the different stages, the nostalgia of it is like you feel like you're there. Really, they could make it into a movie. They could, because it's very rich with heritage. You know, a lot of people don't know what England, you know, was like.
And and this is post-war, so he was born in 1945. Victory in Japan Day. So there's a message behind that one as well. And I was born on his birthday 30 years later, so we shared the same birthday. So.
Wow. Yeah. So history in the making. So I get the feeling that this is a bit of an assignment. This is a bit of a relay. Your dad wrote the book, and you're here promoting it, and we're going to distribute it. Yeah. So we just look forward to what's coming next.
Forward to it too.
And guys, look forward to picking up a copy. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay.